Hello everybody, this is Kentai-P and welcome to my newest Vocatut. This one will be about how to compose music and songs with Fruity Loops Studio and the Vocaloid 2 editor. Now, I'm starting with a clean slate here, nothing on it, no channels, no mixer tracks, no equalizing, and my Vocaloid 2 editor is still closed. I'm going to take this one right from the beginning. Now, of course, we'll start with adding our rewired channel for Vocaloid 2. Rewired. It's channel add one rewired. Go to Vocaloid 2 in the client settings, select multi-output, so if necessary we can send different Vocaloid voice tracks to different equalizing mixer tracks. But I already showed that in my previous tutorials, so if you have problems with getting that to work, just check them out. Setting everything up for a maximum of 3 different Vocaloid voice tracks, but probably I'm just gonna use one. I'm just trying to be on the safe side here, so I don't have to do a lot of refurbishing later. Now I've designated tracks 1 to 3 for Vocaloid input, and to make everything a bit more organized, a bit more easy to overview, I'm gonna name those channels Vocaloid 1 to 3, and I'm going to give them a distinct color so as to easier distinguish them. Just press F2 when selecting the channel. There you can set the name, and on this little gray square you can set the color of the channel. It's quite nice to keep your whole stuff organized. You can do that with channels, with mixer tracks, and also with tracks on the songboard. You can have your whole song setup look like a rainbow. It's actually quite pretty. I did it with one song. What was it again? Cybernetic Dawn. It had colors all over it. It was when I first discovered how to use colorization for the channels and tracks. So I played quite a lot with it because it was a lot of fun. Recently I haven't been doing a lot of naming and coloring with my stuff because I'm just too lazy for that, but today it's probably the best to do it like this, so you can follow up nice and easy. Next I'm going to add some send tracks. If you remember correctly, the send tracks have their own equalizing that they can send to any other track. If I go to any track, like track 2, you can see down here a knob under each send track. And if I turn it up, the equalizing from that specific send channel will be applied to the selected track, equal to the percentage of this little bar thingy here. So I'm gonna put in some mixer tracks. I'm going to my mixer preset folder, and I'm going to take a big verb channel. I made that one myself. It's not very hard. Just take your Fruity Reverb 2 plugin and set it to whatever you want the room you want to emulate to be like. And then I'm going to take a delay send track. Now there's a lot of good preset send tracks in the mixer presets. If you don't find a good delay send track or a good reverb send track or a good chorus send track, then just skim through the demo tracks and look at the send tracks they've got there. They're quite nice send tracks. You can just right click them, go to File and save mixer track state as, and then use it in your own projects later on. Or you make your own send tracks. So this is also a send track I made myself. It's a radio send track, which makes the channels you send it to sound radio-ish. Gonna edit it just a bit because recently I found a way to make it sound more realistic. Select Small Radio 2, press it with a multi-band compressor. and added the parametric equalizer too, to really peak the fifth channel around the mid-range tones, like this. Come on, yes, better. Let's see, that should be okay. I'll take it down so it doesn't go too far up the middle line, because then the whole channel will get too loud. Now we have some basic send tracks, which we can use later on with all our instruments, and of course the Vocaloid tracks. And for the Vocaloid tracks, I'm gonna start with just Vocaloid track 1. I'm going to insert the fruity limiter and tune it up so the voice isn't too low in comparison to the instruments, because that happens really fast, and well, that's certainly not what we want. We want the voice to be distinguishable and clear to hear. And the sound goodizer is always nice. It makes the sound more clear, more full. But I'm not gonna turn it to maximum, because that would make the voice too loud. Selecting setting A, it's quite okay. You can also instead select the plugin called Maximus. It's basically Sound Goodizer is a sub plugin that's made from a Maximus preset, and you can select the Maximus preset Sound Goodizer A. So it's not really a difference. Now next thing. I'm gonna give my Vocaloid 1 track a bit big verb, so that it sounds like there are better acoustics than there actually are. Delay not for the moment, chorus not, radio not. We can set all of that later if necessary. Then next I'm going to add instruments. Now what's always a nice and easy start is a piano. You can later drop it or keep it, whatever suits your song best. But it's always nice to start with a piano. Yeah. I guess I'm just gonna see where this is going to take us. But before I press play on anything, I'm going to open the Vocaloid 2 editor, and then I'm going to enter one note, because as soon as I start playing anything without having a note in my Vocaloid 2 editor, well, it would start bitching around and giving me error messages, which I really don't want right now. Now, first of all, I'm going to adjust the tempo to be the same tempo as in FL Studio, because otherwise the voices would sound really crappy. I go to tact 1, which is in the FL Studio songboard actually tact 5 here. So as soon as the song gets to tact 5, it's actually in tact 1 of the Vocaloid editor. Now, just going to insert a C, any note is okay, and press play to activate my rewired. Wait a second till it's done, and then press play again. It's now inlined and ready to play within Fruity Loop Studio, but I'm going to start on tact 6 so I can bother with Vocaloid later. Now let's start the piano part. There are many ways to start a song. You can start with a melody, you can start with a bass line, a drum line, you can start with a harmony. It's really up to you what comes to your mind, what you want to achieve. What's always a good thing is to think about what your song should become, and then base the instruments you choose on that. but sometimes you probably will just want to start with anything and look how it develops in the future. So let's see, going to do something simple with 3 tones following each other. So got this. Okay, let's see how that sounds. That was the Vocaloid editor because it reached takt 5 in the pattern board. So let's see what I've got here. G A E G A H D. Okay, the whole G thing. I think it's probably G major. On the other hand, it ends on E. Then probably it's E minor. It's always a good thing to look where your song or your closed theme ends, on which note. It's often a good indicator what key you're in. So let's see if we have G, E, A. Let's try E. Yeah, I think that's okay. Now I'm going to show you how you're going to work with a scale. If you know what scale your theme is, you can easily derive what notes you can use and what chords are appropriate. Now the scale we have here is E minor. If you have problems determining what scale the thingy you wrote is, then probably it's best you start with the scale and then look into writing the melody. But I start with the melody first, so I'm going with the scale it gave me, and that's E minor. Now you have two kinds of scales. It's minor scales and major scales, and the major scales sound more happy and vivid, and the minor scales more sad, melancholic. And there's an easy way to find the tones that are inside the tone range of your scale. With major scales, you just take a C note and then you press every white keyboard key until you get to the next C. Those are the notes that are in your C major key. There's a certain amount of full tone steps. That means 2 keys, including black keys. 1, 2, 1, 2. And half tone steps, there are 2 of those, up here and here, where you do just 1 key a step. Okay, and here. And to know where those half tone steps are, you just do what we just did. Go from C to C, all white keys, and then you mark the notes you've set, and you move it to any other key on the keyboard. Like, for example, I move it to a F, here, and now all the keys are on the right place, and you have just to look. This one is in F. This one is in F major. This one is in F major. This one is in F major. This, all in F major. And those are the notes you can use when you're writing something in F major. You can go chromatic. You can use notes that are outside of your key, but that's a bit more advanced, and you'll have to properly manage that. So you can try, but be careful with that. It's easier to just stick to the notes you have in your key. But now let's go on with the minor key. It's the same basic principle, only that you don't start with a C, you start with an A. There are different minor keys, but this is really the one you want, and the other ones are for, well, older music and some other sorts of music, but the one you're probably going to do will use this kind of minor key, and it goes from A to A using all white keys in between. And if you want to use any other minor key, just mark your notes and drag drop them anywhere to any key, and this would be G minor, and this would be C minor, and this would be A sharp minor, D minor, and so on and so on. And if you remember correctly, E minor was the key we already had for the little theme I wrote. So these are the notes we can use. Okay, so it's the E, the F sharp, G, A, B, C, D, and again the E, just one octave higher. Now there are special chords you can use, which are based on the key you have at hand, and those chords, just a second, those chords are based on how far different keys are from your bass tone, which is E. And the minor chord built on your bass key, on your bass note in a minor key, is the so-called tonica. It's the bass chord you'll always try to get back to in your piece because it provides relief. Now the minor chord from E is E, G, H. I always memorize it like this. The minor chord is the small house, small space, with a big with a big roof. So the roof is big and hanging down on the house and looks kind of sad. And the major chord That's the big house with a small roof. It looks spacey and happy. That's how I remember major and minor. It's based on minor a small third with a big third on top, and major a big third with a small third on top. And those are intervals, so how many half-tone steps there are in an interval determines how it's called. And the small third has 1, 2, 3 half-tone steps, and the big third has 1, 2, 3, 4 half-tone steps. Okay? So the first tone of your minor key is has a minor chord on top of it. The second one has a major chord on top of it. The third one also has a major chord on top of it. And the fourth one has a minor chord on top of it. And the fifth one has a major chord on top of it. And the sixth one has also a major chord on top of it. And the eighth one really is the same as the first one. And as for the seventh one, you'll probably want to let your hands off that one for the beginning, because it's a special thingy. You'll have to have a bit experience to deal with that. It can be used quite nicely in a song, but it's a bit tougher because it doesn't just go into a major or minor chord, but into something different. Now, this is the chords you can use in your minor scale. Okay, and the most important ones are your first step chord, the tonica, and your fourth step chord, the subdominant, and the fifth step chord, the dominant. The dominant is always in major, be it a major scale or a minor scale. And in the dominant there is the greatest tension you can create in your song. So whenever you play the dominant, you usually will provide relief by going back to the tonica. Pardon me. So the chords we are going to use mainly are the tonica, it's E minor, the subdominant, it's A minor, and the dominant, it's B major. B, D sharp, and F sharp. Okay, so with that cleared, let's go back to our little doodle and let's see what we can do with this. So the first bass tone I made in the first tact is an E, so we're just going to make that into the E minor chord, our tonica. It's always easiest to start with a tonica because then subconsciously the listener knows what to expect. So it's E, G, and H, but you don't have to build it like this. You can spread it anywhere you want. I'm going to let this one go down by putting the H below the E and the G below the H. Then we have C, and let's see what tones we have here. G, A, H. Okay, let's try our A minor first. The A minor chord, it's our subdominant. It contains the tones A, C, and E, so theoretically we could use it with a C here. We're just gonna try. We let the E stay on the same note, and we'll let those go up, and let's check out how it sounds. Okay, I think that's okay. And the D, let's see. Now we can go back to our chord board and check out what kind of chord we have with the D. Oh, it's the 7th, or it could also be the 3rd. which is G, H, D, a G major chord. So let's try that one first. D, H, G. Okay. G. We could use that in the tonica. Yeah, that doesn't sound right. So we have an A up here and a G down here. That's a bit close because G and A are only two half notes apart from each other, so that will probably not sound so well. The sound volume here is a bit low for me, because if I had turned it up too much it would sound a lot. It's kind of problematic for me to set up my mic for this recording software, so probably I overheard this little mistone here. I'm just going to set this to let's check our chord board. A, pew. Oh, that's a tough one. I guess I can try to go the C major. It shares some of the chords of A minor. A. I'm going to have a G here, E, and a C. No, I'm going with A minor. So this is E and D. Let's try C, G, E, C major. Here, D, H, G. This is E, D, then let's try A, E, C, A minor. And end with a tonica again to provide relief. But that's not the tonica. This is. Well, could use some work, but I think for now it's fine. Now I'm going to take all my chord accompaniment and cut it out, put it into another pattern, so I have it distinct from the melody. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to go to File, Save Score As, no wait, Export as MIDI file. That's what we want. Just going to Music, call it Pattern 1, save. I'm going to open the Vocaloid editor, go to Open Import, yeah, I'm going to select Vocaloid MIDI file, standard MIDI file, yes, error messages all over the place. Going to go to the folder where I saved this. There it is, pattern 1. I'm going to import it. Yes. Yes. Now it's here. I'm going to select it, delete the new track, and input it into the track I want to have it in. Here. Now, if I import it, the velocity is unusually high, so I'm just going to take my line tool here and set it to standard levels for now. We can fiddle with the vocal dynamics later. Now we're gonna leave them be first. So this is our vocal part. Yes, rewire. Yes. Go back to FL Studio. And now we've put the piano melody into the Vocaloid editor. And we're going to check out how it sounds. I guess that's okay. Now we could insert our chords. Now there's much of playing around with those chords you can do, changing the rhythm, not playing all notes at the same time, but we're going to do something completely different. We're going to take a different instrument. And let's see, I think I'm going to take a synthetic instrument. I'm going to generators, which one to take? Let's take citrus. Then I'll take a pad. And which one is good? Let's check it out. No. That could be nice. Not quite though. No, let's go to the short synths. Okay. Now I'm going to copy our chords, go to a new pattern, paste them, and then we're going to go just with the bass tones, which were E, C, I think D, then I guess I'm going to take E, and C again, G, A, E. Okay, I'm gonna drag those a little deeper. To have some easy on the ears accompaniment for our voice. That didn't sound quite right. What's the highest one here? that's okay for now. Then, oh, this is hard. Let's see. Next, I'm going to add some percussion. Let's do something everyone should have, the FPC. Select the default channel. And now you should have some percussion at your disposal. Now, it's not easy to get the right percussion, and it will take you some time to figure out how to. But just try different rhythms and different constellations, and you'll be just fine. Well, let's keep it simple for now. Okay, let's listen to it. Now, something I really like to use is take a simple beep. There's one with the TS404 channel presets, I believe. It's the 404 beep. And I'm going to add some major equalizing to it by giving it a heavy delay, some chorus, some big verb. And that should basically be all what we need. And it sounds like this. Faster. Okay, let's listen to this. Okay. Now let's check it out with the other stuff. Maybe let the drums come in a bit later. Oh yeah, let's just start them a bit softer, just with heads. Like this. Let's check it out. Okay. Still a bit vague, maybe we'll just add some text. Oh, it's always so tough with Japanese lyrics. Let's start with Michiwa, the way the street is. Shiroi. All the way is white, or the street is white. Yukiga, the snow. Kokoni. Let's see. Just check out if I got the verb right. Come on. Furu. Yeah, furu.
Ni.
Fu. Du. Ta. Pretty simple. The way is white. Snow has fallen here. No, it's not pretty imaginative, but well, you try that stuff live. Okay.
虹は白い雪だとこに降るた
Let's shift the rhythm a bit. Okay, awesome. So now we're going to do some automation, just so we have the basics put together. I'm going to select my Vocaloid 1 mixer track. That's where Miku is currently channeled into. And I'm going to right click the send track knob for the radio send track. And I am going to click this, create automation clip. And so it does. That's the automation clip. And you see the line is all the way down, which means there is no radio send at the moment. But how about this? We're going to give it full radio send at the beginning and slowly jot it down. So it's going to sound kind of like it's coming through a small walkie-talkie in the beginning and then getting clearer and clearer till the end.
虹は白い雪だとこに降るた
Maybe it's better if the development is more sudden, like so. Okay, Let's try it now.
道は白い雪だと降り降るた
Okay, so now we're just going to do one more basic that's going to come in handy. First we need something to give us some chord accompaniment. Again, I'm going to go with citrus. I think I'm going to use where is it? Here. The basic one. Okay. Now to make things easier, I'm going to copy my bass tones from pattern 4. It's this one. And paste them into the basic channel in a new pattern. So that's a bit too deep. Now I'm going to use the bass tones as basics. And I'm going to let it play the chords, but I'm not going to play the chord tones at the same times. I'm going to let them follow each other. So the chord tones for E minor were E, G, H, and so I'm going to play E, and then G, and then H, and then again G, like this. And then there is C, which I'm going to take for A minor, C, E, A, E, then there's D, D is for G major, so D, G, and H. That's A minor again. I'm just playing a bit with the position of the notes, then C major. And then it's G. So here I've entered a note that's not in the usual chord, the A, but it's just part of the melody. It's in between those three notes. It doesn't really belong to the chord. So let's check it out. Let's play it together with the singing. Maybe give it a little equalizing so it's a bit more prominent. Gonna give it a limiter. The fruity limiter is always good if you have an instrument channel that is too low in comparison to the other channels. You can always increase the gain. If you leave the sail like it is and increase just the gain, it should be completely noise free, which is really great. It's a perfect plugin for adjusting volume levels. So let's try it out. Okay, that didn't really need increasement. wanted to show you with that is something really nice, which is the XY modulation. Now if I modulate this down as far as possible on both axes, it's gonna sound like this. Pretty different, right? So I'm going to automate both X and Y axes, and I'm going to make them increase to maximum level over time, like this. And it's going to sound like the instrument is opening up while it's playing. It's a really nice effect which is used in thousands and thousands of songs because it's such a great effect, and you can use it too. It's just you just have to find the XY modulation in your plugin. If there is no XY modulation in your plugin, you can go to your channel window and click on Miscellaneous, and there's also Mod X and Mod Y, and there are also some equalizing plugins that support Mod X and Y modulation. Just try and find it. You'll most probably find it for anything you want to use it on. So let's listen, shall we?
道は白い雪かに降り降ると
So, and now the very last thing before we're done. I'm going to show you just a little introduction into the vocal dynamics of the Vocaloid editor. There are basically three parts of the dynamics you really always want to work with, and those are velocity, dynamics, and I don't know, that's actually it. The other ones, whether you use them or how you use them, that always depends on the Vocaloid you're using and the situation you're using them in. The breathiness, it's really the breathiness, and the brightness, it's really the brightness. If you're using Vocaloid Rin, for example, she really always needs adjustment to her brightness, but other Vocaloids, for example, don't always necessarily need that. I usually never do brightness adjustments with Miku or Luca. It's really dependent on the situation, and the pitch bend is especially interesting for well, going up or down in with English Vocaloids in the middle of the word, with words you can't split. It's really tough to do it just over the notes, and with pitch bend you can avoid that issue. Now, the velocity, the safest way you can go is just let the velocity go up as the notes go higher and down as they go lower, and usually you can't go wrong with that. Will always increase the quality and realism of your sound. And if you can sing, the safest way is just to sing what you've written and look where you put more force into the syllables and where you put less force into the syllables, and according to that adjust your velocity. And easiest way for a dynamics tool is just follow the curve of your velocity. There are lots of ways to play with the velocity and the dynamics to make it sound even more realistic, and also the genre of music you are writing in is very relevant to how you use the dynamics. For example, if you have something like rock or things where you sometimes sing really hard, you might want to consider having sudden straight drops in your dynamics or straight peaks in your dynamics, making the voice seem even more vivid. So let's just play this. Okay.
虹は白い雪が降り降るだ
Okay. For now, that concludes the tutorial. I hope I could help you a little bit with your composing, and probably I'm going to continue this tutorial with additional advice. Maybe if I have the necessary creativity in stock, I'll try to record the making of one of my songs, so you can try and follow up through the procedure, and hopefully that's going to help you as well with your composing. So thanks for listening, and tune in next time for a new Vocatut by Kentai-P. Goodbye.